I also interviewed Joel Benenson, who is the chief strategist for Hillary Clinton. He was a big campaign guy in Obama's campaign, I think in '08, maybe 2012. But this didn't get as much news because obviously the Brazil interview gone viral. I think on Facebook last I checked it had like 180,000 views. But there was also news because I interviewed Joel Benenson and I asked him about Hillary Clinton in private speeches calling Keystone Pipeline opponents radical environmentalists, as well as telling them to get a life. He completely dodged that question. He didn't even answer me.
Where does she stand on Dakota Access Pipeline?
You know what? I'm not as versed in that issue right now.
And we got into it. He was saying that she's pushed clean energy and blah, blah, blah. I pushed back, yeah, she's also pushed fracking around the world. And he basically brought it down to, well, we have a choice between two people. One believes in climate change, one doesn't. I made the mistake. I should have said we have a choice between four people. It slipped my mind for a minute. So then at the end, he was getting more and more heated because, again, these people are not used to journalists actually challenging them. And there's a difference between having a follow-up question that's pretty much, kind of a softball follow-up question, which is technically challenging them, which CNN does all day long, and having a follow-up that actually presses them. And when they go back to their talking point, cutting them off again. That's how journalism is supposed to be done. To me, if they're getting angry at you, that means you're doing your job. If you're just sitting there and smiling together, I don't know about that. I asked him at the end, does Hillary Clinton support or not support the Dakota Access Pipeline, which I just came from at Standing Rock. Obviously, we've been there twice. The pipeline is about 90% built. A lot of people think that it was stopped by President Obama and the Department of Justice weeks ago. It was temporarily stopped, but not the whole thing. They just stopped a small area around the pipeline. But that injunction was lifted, so now they're building at will. It's also a police state there. If you go to youtube.com/tytpolitics, we've done 5 videos so far from our most recent trip. I've never seen a police presence like this in my life for such a peaceful marches and demonstrations. Hundreds of police, like the last thing I was at, over 100 police with billy clubs and military vices over their head. Some of them have shotguns. Anyway, I asked, is she for or against the pipeline? His answer, I'm not well versed on that. He's not well versed. So the chief strategist for Hillary Clinton, who is in charge of strategy, doesn't know if she's for or against the Dakota Access Pipeline. So that's his public position. Got to look in the emails, try to find what the private position is. But as Cenk said, of course she's for the Dakota Access Pipeline. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's an insult. It's an insult to you, the viewer, and the American people, because they're trying to run out the clock. They're trying to be vague. They're trying to play dumb. This pipeline, okay, this is about life or death. If these people's water is poisoned, and it's really not if, when these Native Americans' water is poisoned, you can't drink poisoned water and live. So the fact that Hillary Clinton has, to date, escaped even showing her position on this issue is astounding to me that no reporters have got her on the record on this. Tim Kaine a few weeks ago was asked by a reporter. He played dumb, said I need to do a little more research. I haven't heard him come out yay or nay for the pipeline. And Hillary Clinton's campaign advisor played dumb as well, saying I'm not well versed. So if he's not well versed, I'm going to take that as she's for the pipeline. And so should you. So at least we know where she stands. Because, well, maybe she'll come out now against it if it's looking, once the story goes viral and the Native Americans get more empathy and sympathy for the public, maybe she'll come out because that's her MO. So then there was Robbie Mook, who was the campaign manager. Robbie Mook has been all detailed in these WikiLeaks nonstop. And I asked him about the emails about the TPP, where it was shown that her campaign and Joel Benenson, who I just told you I interviewed, said, we're going to get eaten alive if we don't go against the TPP. We'll get, quote, eaten alive by progressives and labor, and we need to suck it up. When I asked him about that, he played dumb, saying I can't authenticate each email to know whether they're true or not.
I can't verify any of the specific email.
And at a certain point, it's just, I would rather them just say, yeah, obviously there were considerations in the campaign. They'll spin it in some way, but at least acknowledge that these are valid. I mean, you're just insulting the American people by playing dumb. And by the way, Hillary Clinton has acknowledged at the debates that at least the speeches that were revealed were authentic, and nobody could prove that these emails are not authentic. And by the way, if they were not authentic, these people would be coming out saying so. If somebody had emails of me that were not right and were fake, I'd be out in 10 seconds saying this is a forgery. So he pretends that he doesn't know if they're authentic, this and that. And then he gets into his Russian thing. They're all programmed. They must have gotten in the same room and rehearsed. Within 7 seconds, we move on to Russia. And I cut him off. I said, what proof do you have? We keep hearing this. And then he actually turned away from me to do an interview with another reporter. So, whether it's Brazil, whether it's Joel Benenson, who, if you watch that video, there's 2 videos of my interview with Joel Benenson up there. It was at the point where we were like very close to each other, and I thought he might take a swing at me. He was so angry. And Robbie Mook, pretty much, I can't authenticate the emails. Russia. I think what you see is these people are allowed to do it. These people are so used to obfuscating and dodging because they've been allowed to do this for years by a complicit corporate media that are not journalists. They are stick figures with makeup on that fill the time between the next Viagra commercial. That's what they are. Are there some journalists on cable news or in print that are good? Yeah. I tweeted out the other day a CNN reporter was caught in gunfire in Iraq, I think it was. I mean, that is journalism. I don't want to go to Iraq. I'll be the first one to say it. I'm not someone who wants to go into a war zone. That's not what I want to do. Totally straight up. I'm scare the shit out of me. But, so we don't have to condemn all of them. But at least the political media, when's the last time you've seen Chris Matthews do what I did last night? Anderson Cooper did. And again, it's not that I'm so great. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just the only one doing it. This is what I did last night should be what the common thing you see every day. But then they wouldn't go on CNN. Then they wouldn't go on MSNBC. Then when the politicians get in office, they wouldn't work together with the media and their parent companies to give them tax cuts and deregulation. So that's how this system works. And as long as I could do it, I'm going to spotlight it. Now, let's keep it real. When you do things like I did last night, which is challenging this and that, eventually you're going to get blacklisted. So I accept that. And I think that's a story in itself. If after challenging them last night, they won't let me into their rallies, my credentials get denied for future debates, future events, that's a story. And I'll cover that. Because obviously, if you are blacklisted for doing journalism, that says a lot about the people blacklisting you. And if the people in the other media don't stand up for colleagues, that says a lot about them. So I'm not worried about being blacklisted, though. If I can still do this job whether I'm at the debates or not. Doesn't matter to me. So that's my story. I wanted to kind of give you my take and the behind the scenes on what happened last night. Several videos are up from the debate last night. We're going to have more going up from the debate. YouTube.com/TYTPolitics. We're headed to 91,000 subscribers, I hope, by the end of today or tomorrow. And hopefully 100,000 subscribers in the near future. Keep sharing the videos. Keep liking on Facebook, sharing on Facebook. Keep telling your friends about YouTube.com/TYTPolitics. And I will be in Chicago later tonight and tomorrow.